Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars. Topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. I am your host, as always, Jeff Malinoff, and with me is my partner in crime, my amigo, my basketball buddy, Mark, the man. The man, that was a bad nickname. I'll give you Mark, the Mark Souza.
The Marvelous.
Ooh, Marvelous Mark Souza. Okay, like Marvelous Mark Marrow. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have no idea.
That's a wrestler. Marvelous Marvelous Mark Marrow.
Okay.
Yeah, that was his name. Or his name in WCW was Johnny V. Bad.
I could be the Maverick, since we're a basketball podcast.
And you love Doncic.
It's true.
You have a picture of him on your wall and you kiss it to bed every night, don't you?
Hallelujah.
Yeah. How's your wife handling your affection with him?
She's fine.
Does she know about the poster with the heart?
There are a lot of athletes that I gravitate to, so this is just one of the collection. So
remind me never to see that collection. Anyways, moving on. When it comes to When it comes to basketball, there is one name that comes to mind every time you say that name of the sport.
Michael Jordan.
Close, but I mean, as of who's playing right now.
Oh, other than Luka Doncic, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, duh. Giannis.
Well, maybe, but also
not him either. Shoot.
Also, trying to give you a hint. He's a Laker. Mm-hmm. It's Lance Stevenson.
Oh.
No, it's actually LeBron James.
LeBron James. I've heard of him. Is he good?
He's pretty good.
Has he had a good career? Success?
He's been good in the past.
Notable name?
I mean, he passed Wilt Chamberlain on the scoring list.
Oh, okay. So he must be a good guy. Okay, he must be a good player. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what are we talking about? What's up with LeBron?
Well, there's another player in the NBA that doesn't really have what you say a good opinion about him.
Who's that?
And that is Kevin Durant.
What did he say now?
He said he brings toxic to whatever team he goes to. He means LeBron.
I find it funny that a man so sensitive towards the media like Kevin Durant is creating a little bit of controversy, creating a little bit of a story in the media by his comments about LeBron James, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. 1 million.
So what did he say? He said that he was critical of LeBron or what?
He said he's just like, no one wants to be in the shadow. It's all about LeBron. He's selfish. Well, alleged selfish. And he just said some pretty, it's all about him and not the team type of things. Where it's ironic because Kevin Durant is the most thin-skinned man in the NBA, arguably.
Mm-hmm,
and
absolutely.
he can't take criticism, but he can dish it out.
Absolutely. That's a fact.
Does that mean he's a alleged hypocrite?
No. But so are we talking about Durant, or are we going to talk about LeBron and?
Well, we can talk about both. True. Well, it's not. What do you think of it? Is it true or not that he's? It's all about him and he's toxic.
Well, I don't know if I'd go as far as saying toxic, but I would say that what I think Durant is really trying to say here, I think the overall point is not really the word toxic that I think a lot of people are latching on to. That's the headliner, but it's the idea that the top players in the league don't want to play with LeBron James because he kind of steals the spotlight. It's all about him, whereas some of these guys might want to just do their own thing or at least be a part of something where they feel more involved or a bigger piece of the puzzle, right? So, and I think we can look at that and say that there's some truth to that. I mean, why don't we start with Kyrie Irving? He was LeBron's sidekick in Cleveland, okay? He couldn't wait to leave. I mean, all reports indicate that he wanted to go be his own man, go be his own star player somewhere else. We're talking about a guy, mid-20s, a guy who's won a championship with LeBron. Like, he's had success in Cleveland. But, as much as everybody thinks like, oh, who wouldn't want to play with LeBron? I think there's some truth to it, And I will go a step further to say a lot of people were banking on Paul George joining the Lakers. So many people were shocked that he re-signed with the Thunder. And I think the Lakers were envisioning George signing, and we're kind of shocked and really didn't have a backup plan when he didn't. And I think that's what led them to make moves like go signing Rondo and Stevenson and some of these other guys.
Mm-hmm. Which I agree with you. I think they were banking on that Paul George would join his hometown team and all of that good stuff. But I do think the fact that LeBron's there, it leaves those guys who have the ability to be a superstar for one team hesitant to go there because they want to be the face of the team, which is understandable. I mean, if you have the star power for it, why not go for that? And LeBron kind of is obviously the face of the Lakers, and regardless what whoever goes in onto that team, he's got to remain the face.
Oh yeah.
And so I think that's where I don't think he's toxic. I just think it's more of the fact that it's just the players want a different role than behind LeBron, which is understandable.
I think Lakers fans, too, being a fan of the Lakers, you always just assume everybody wants to play for your team when they're a free agent. And then you get LeBron and you're like, now definitely everybody's going to want to play for us. Who wouldn't want to join and play in L.A., play in this weather, play for this franchise with this star player? But there might be some truth to it. And, a guy like Kyle Korver, for example, guys at the back end of their career who provide value as a role player, they might want to join LeBron. I could definitely see that. But, man, I'm just not so sure if these younger cats are out there just panning to play with LeBron,
Yeah, well, the thing is, when you're a young kid, like a lot of the guys on the Lakers are, they're getting a great opportunity to play with LeBron because they can win now. And
none of them are stars yet. Like,
exactly.
They're all players that are on the way up.
I think that's a completely different story than a superstar going there because they're so young and they still need ability. They still need time to be a star, in where they're with a star with LeBron and they don't have that pressure on them of being the guy right away. Like in so many other places, when you're the first round draft pick, you're starred as the guy. Like Doncic in Dallas is now the guy. And he might not be ready for that, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to L.A. as a rookie or 1 or 2 year guy, you aren't looked at as like, oh, well, hopefully this guy can contribute, help us win. It's like, oh, it's a guy that LeBron can help get better.
Kevin Durant's an impending free agent. Do you
if
think
he goes
that
to the Lakers, if he goes to the Lakers, I will do something weird.
It would be hilarious because after going to the Lakers after this, and then him joining the Warriors after losing to them, like people would whatever respect people have left of him would just be completely gone, right?
Completely gone. There was so much respect gone when he went to the Warriors.
I mean, I don't mind that he went to the Warriors, but I know a lot of people do.
Well, it's one of those things where like if you can't beat them, join them, and people really don't like that. Like the NBA is all about beating the best team, not joining the best team.
Yeah.
And he basically, let's just say, went to the bathroom on that statement.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand why people don't respect him anymore. I understand why. And him criticizing LeBron James or anyone else for that matter, I don't think he has the right to say it because he can't take the criticism himself.
Mm-hmm.
like LeBron has taken criticism his whole career, no?
LeBron, absolutely.
And
he's been in the spotlight since he was a high school player.
And how has he taken criticism? He doesn't even react to it.
Yeah, pretty well.
So he's mature. I don't think...
Even to this, I mean, he was asked about it, and he's like, I want to read the whole comment by Kevin Durant before I comment on it. Like, that's what he said.
He didn't go off or anything. Like, when he went to Miami and all the horrible things Cleveland said about him, the owner said about him, what he said, he didn't say anything about it. He just he was like, I understand their frustration. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a mature adult.
So we're just discussing players in their prime, like who'd want to join LeBron, and Durant's a impending free agent, but so is Kawhi Leonard. Mm-hmm. Now,
what about him?
If you're Kawhi Leonard, do you consider playing alongside LeBron? Or do you consider... I mean, if you leave Toronto. Let's just say... Let's take Toronto out of this because there's a great chance he re-signs there. But let's just say he doesn't. He's a pending free agent. Let's say he's looking at the market. Lakers say, hey, we really want you, Kawhi. We want you and LeBron and Lonzo and Ingram and Kuzma, and that's our team next year, and we think that you guys could win a championship. If you're Kawhi, do you want to go there and play alongside LeBron? Or do you consider maybe their crosstown rival? I wouldn't even say crosstown because they play in the same building, but you know what I mean, the Clippers. Would you consider them as a more attractive destination than the Lakers? You're playing in the same city, so you got to take out region.
Isn't that weird to say that we're now saying the Clippers are the more attractive team to go to than the Lakers are? Because, as we all know, the Clippers have never been the destination in LA. It's always been like, oh, right, that's a team there.
Yeah.
Like, some people even forget they're a team there. You know what I mean? Just like, when you list, like, ideal places, like...
They've kind of changed the narrative, though.
Yeah, but it's still...
They're still second fiddle.
Exactly. They will... unless they win what I've said before, if they win 18 championships in a row, then fine. They can be the best team in LA. But until that time, they're always going to be known as the second child, the stepchild. But if you're
Kawhi Leonard... Are they a more attractive destination than the Lakers? Because
yes,
like when you look at the roster,
they're going to offer more money too.
Well, they probably offer the same. They're probably going to offer the same because there's a cap, there's a limit, right?
Well,
but let's just say all things are equal. All things are equal. Lakers approach Kawhi, Clippers approach Kawhi. Going back to Toronto, he's already said no. He's already crossed them off. This is who he's narrowed it down to. If you're him, do you think he takes Clippers or Lakers?
I think he takes the Clippers.
I think so, too.
Because he's going to be the man there.
He's going to be the guy, and they have a good team.
And he will be the forefront of that, and if they win a championship, it will be because of him, quote-unquote.
They have a really good team right now, and you could see him being like the leader of that circus. I know Tobias Harris is having an incredible year, and he's a guy that the Clippers could give a max deal to as well. But I think if they had the choice, they would take Kawhi, over Tobias Harris. Not that Harris isn't incredible. But, yeah, I could see him joining that team. They got some young players there. They have an interesting team, and they're winning ball games right now. So it shows that with Doc Rivers and those players, that they can play well, and Kawhi Leonard might make them a championship contender. I mean, obviously, a lot would depend on where Durant ends up and what the Warriors look like next year. But I think it's safe to say that Durant's not going to be at the Warriors next year. It's not a done deal. It's not a guarantee. But I see the Warriors having a Clay, Curry, Draymond team like they did before Durant. Durant either going to New York or somewhere else, in my opinion. We don't know. But, man, Kawhi on the Clippers, LeBron on the Lakers, that could be a nice little rivalry, a nice little Staples Center rivalry. Man, that would be fun. I think that would be really fun.
I would be entertained by the idea.
Yeah. So, I mean...
It would be the talk of California sports.
I don't know. I think the Lakers really need to trade for a star. I don't think that they can get one in free agency. I know that sounds incredibly crazy.
But what can they offer to a star team with a team with the star?
They have a lot of young players. They're going to have to include a Brandon
But is
Ingram.
It worth it to get rid of those talented young men who haven't even developed yet? I don't think it's worth it.
We're talking about a team that's looking to win a championship in the next 3 years. We're not talking about developing Lonzo Ball, Kuzma, or Ingram.
You're talking about the length of the contract that LeBron has. You got to go through that. Basically they have the deadline of his contract to win a championship.
Well, his age, like he's not getting younger, so he's
probably
he's
probably going to retire after this contract.
Absolutely, I would say so.
Well, like how old is he right now? 33, 34?
He's 33, I believe.
So 4-year contract, he'll be 37 by the end of it.
Mm-hmm. And
that's roughly around the same time Kobe retired, wasn't it? Like 38, 39?
Mm-hmm.
So
right. He's 30. LeBron is 33. He'll be 34 at the end of this month.
Happy birthday.
Well,
wait, what day?
December 30. There's still some time.
Well, happy early birthday. Just take the darn birthday.
LeBron will be 33. They will consider. They didn't sign him for 5 years down the road. They signed him to, okay, maybe they don't win this year, but 2019, 2020, 2021, that's the years that they're looking to win a championship. And yes, you want to have that young talent. You want to develop it. But if you have to give up one or two of those guys to get a guy like a Kawhi or get a guy like a Jimmy Butler. I'm saying these names. I know they're not coming, but I'm just saying these names because they're relevant players. They're star players. You have to do it because I think that's the only way they acquire one of these guys. Honestly, I really do.
Yeah, there's a lot to go on with this, and they could get rid of a lot of young guys. Maybe that's why they got a lot of young guys still, because they could get more players around LeBron. But this team can win with LeBron now, honestly, in my opinion. I know they want to win now, but maybe just a year or two, give them a little time with them. But I don't know. I maybe they'd be rushing into things personally. But I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think that the Lakers need to give their fans a gift and bring in another star to play alongside LeBron. But, there are other gifts to give these holidays.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, and I have a great gift for the listeners out there, the gift of Audible. I don't know if you've heard of Audible before, but man, Audible is great. Are you looking for an unmatched selection of audiobooks? If you are, this is for you. It's that time of year when everyone is thinking about thoughtful gifts, so this is a gift that could be for yourself or for loved ones. Right now, for a limited time, you can get 3 months of Audible for just $6.95 a month. Again, $6.95 a month. That's more than half off the regular price. You get 3 months of that. Give yourself the gift of listening. And while you're at it, think about giving the gift of Audible to someone on your list. For more, go to audible.com/GSMC book. That's audible.com/GSMC book. Or you can text GSMC book to 500-500. That's 500-500. Text GSMC book to 500-500.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. Woo! All right, we just finished talking about LeBron and the issues with Kevin Durant, or vice versa. however you want to call it. Now we're going to go into the Lakers on the basketball court against the San Antonio Spurs. So, Mark, I don't know why I'm keep doing this. You have the scores of that.
Yeah, Lakers win last night. A game that was on national TV, 121-113. The Lakers surged in the fourth quarter. They pull away. LeBron drops 42. But some other contributors contributed down the stretch and really aided in the win. Josh Hart had 2 big three-pointers in the final minutes yesterday. To note, those other contributors other than the king himself, LeBron. The Lakers are now 15-9. They started off struggling, but man, they've really turned it up lately. How do you feel about them going forward? They are now on a 4-game winning streak. They've won 7 of their last 10.
We expected them to have a hot streak at some point, like we saw them playoff contenders and all that stuff. And then you look at the Spurs, who are they're going opposite directions, obviously, both these teams. And LeBron is just like his 42-point effort, like that's commonplace now, you know? And I mean, DeRozan had a pretty good game himself, but the fact of the matter is LeBron's gonna have these games in where he's gonna go off and he's gonna carry a team to victory. He's carried the Cavs to championships the last 4 years, so I'm not surprised that they're on this winning streak, and I would not be surprised how far they get when it comes to the playoff time, because I think it's almost destiny they're making the playoffs. I think it's LeBron. If you have LeBron, you're automatically in the playoffs. Doesn't matter. That might not be a championship anymore because the Lakers, you're in the Western Conference, but I think it's like an automatic bid for a playoff spot.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to know what's crazy is that I don't think this has been said too many times recently. The Northwest Division is probably the most contested division. And in fact, the whole West is, all the divisions in the West are good. But the Pacific Division, after years of being one of the worst every year, has gotten a little bit better. The Clippers, the Lakers, the Kings are all improved. The Warriors have a little bit of competition this year, which is crazy because they've ran away with this division pretty much every single year for the last, 5 years. So, everybody but Phoenix.
It feels like it's been longer, hasn't it?
It feels like it's been a lot longer. Yes, you're absolutely right. So
it feels like it's been since the dawn of time.
Let's talk about the Spurs for a minute, though. Man, 3 losses over 30 points last week. They became the 5th team in NBA history to do that. They did get a win before their loss last night, but this team is struggling. They're 11-14. I'm just not sure what to make of this team. They're last in their division in the Southwest. It doesn't seem like they're on the up and up. They're 3-7 in their last 10. Are we seeing the decline of the Spurs? Or do we think that they'll actually be an above 500 team at season's end?
How do I just say this? It's an end of an era in where the the Spurs, wow. What a brain fart that was. Where the Spurs were the dominant brand, the dominant team, just dominant everything.
Especially in that division.
Yeah. It was almost like a foregone conclusion they would go far, you know?
Yeah.
And all over the course of this, you look at what they've lost. Duncan, Parker, Ginobili, Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
And
even Green has left the team.
Yeah, but those 4 in particular are the biggest.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing of all of that is Popovich is now going to be looked at as like he can only win with these guys, and that's not fair.
I don't think so. You think
I
that'll
hope
change
not.
his legacy?
Well, the thing is, he's won with only Duncan on the team.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, but
I know maybe that's not fair to say.
But Duncan,
I love Popovich. I love Joe.
So Pop has won championships with, yes, Duncan was the mainstay, but his team's changed too. You know, he had David Robinson, and then he had Kawhi Leonard. It wasn't like I don't know, the Phil Jackson Bulls or the Phil Jackson Lakers where Kobe and Shaq or Pippen and Jordan. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The Spurs changed. Now, yeah, they got better. They got worse. But they maintained a level of excellence for a long time.
I am not taking away anything from Popovich. I'm just
like you are.
taking nothing away. I'm just saying that this little brief stint of bad, I hope doesn't affect his legacy.
It won't. I don't think so.
That's all I was trying to say before you rudely interrupted me.
All right, fine. Well, the Spurs...
Did you interrupt your wife during her vows, too?
No, I don't think so. I think that was different, though. You know, it was a different circumstance.
Did you ask her to walk down the alley with Doncic, or what is it, Halle Doncic?
Halle Luka, you mean?
I mean Luka, or whatever.
No, I didn't.
You would if you got married now, you would.
There's plenty of athletes that I like more than Luka Doncic, but he's just a really good player.
Okay.
All right, so let's move on to other action last night in the NBA. Where do you want to go first? Should we go with the Thunder?
We can go Oklahoma City, who kind of had Russell Westbrook antagonize Hawks bench recently. We can go there, sure.
Yeah. So Paul George, 47 points, including the final bucket to give the Thunder the win. But Russell Westbrook, he made some history last night. He passes Jason Kidd on the triple-double list. He's got a lot more triple-doubles, I think, in the tank, so we'll see where he ends his career at in terms of on that list. But the Thunder win again. They're 16-7. They started, with that rocky start to the season, but, man, they're on their way. As we look at them, the Northwest, another competitive division. But, man, OKC's 8-2. They've actually been step for step with Denver through this crazy 10-game stretch that the Nuggets have been on. The Nuggets' 7-game winning streak. The Thunder have only dropped 1 game in that time. So, if it wasn't for Denver, maybe the Thunder would be the team that we're talking about the most in the Western Conference.
Maybe, but I feel like no matter how they do, they will always be looked at bottom tier compared to what else is going on.
What do you mean by that?
Well, not bottom tier, but the Warriors will always be better than them. That's what everyone will think. That's how I say it. They will never be the best team in the NBA. Mm-hmm. I hate to break it to them, but that's how
about the
Nuggets?
Works. Are the Nuggets the best team in the West?
Now, that is an interesting question.
They won again last night. That's why I bring it up. 124-118. 7th straight win for the Nuggets. So I'll let you ponder on that question for another minute. But, this team, we talked about it yesterday, defensively insane. They did win this game in overtime, so 118 looks a bit high. But when you win in overtime, usually the scores are going to get relatively high. But regardless, Denver 124-118, 7th straight win.
They are on fire.
Jamal Murray had 31. Jokic had a 12, 13, and 8 game. Your starting center had 13 assists. Wow.
That's absurd.
I agree.
When your center is usually underneath the bucket and he's still dishing out dimes, that's impressive. I know he goes to the outside a lot. I know he moves a lot on the court, but most of the time you see him underneath the basket.
He's kind of a point center now for
a penter.
The way that they play.
Penter.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to stick.
A point guard.
Yeah, probably not going to stick either.
I like pointer.
Okay.
That's a good one, pointer.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Placenter? I know where that sounded like.
Yeah. Let's see if that one
Placenter?
goes over
Let's
well.
try to get over Placenter.
Anyways, let's move on to some other games.
Sure. What other games do you want to discuss, my friend?
I don't know. I'll let you go ahead and choose.
All right. From yesterday, okay. What about arguably the best team in the East versus a team that's trying to be the best team in the East? The Sixers and Raptors.
That was a good game.
We had the Raptors edging this win, 113-102. Kawhi Leonard with 36 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 steals this game. Butler did have a 38-10 game himself, but when you're looking at this, the Raptors, even if Kyle Lowry has a bad game or so on and so forth, Kawhi Leonard can carry this team to a victory.
Absolutely. Let's be honest, they're 21-5. What did they do this offseason? They added Kawhi in replace of DeRozan. I think you could point to that, to why this team is so good. We can't overlook Nick Nurse and what he's done with that team. Guys like Siakam, Ibaka, these guys are playing really good basketball. And, they shoot 27% from three last night, and they still win pretty comfortably, which is a credit to them, a credit to their overall team performance.
Yeah, it's, I love about this is like these guys play as a team. There's a lot of chemistry there, I feel like, in such a short period of time.
I agree.
And when you look at it, that's what I love about basketball is chemistry on the court and how good they play together. And I think that this team can really maybe overthrow the Warriors.
Okay. What about the Sixers, though? Were you impressed with how they played last night?
I was impressed by Butler, but overall I was just there was a lot of good things to look at, and I think this team just needs a little bit more playing time together to get that chemistry intact.
Yeah, I thought Ben Simmons, he had a good game. But late in the game, I would have liked to see him step up a little bit more. Embiid had a rough scoring night, but I think the Sixers are on the right path. We talked about them having a nice little win streak going into last night. The acquisition of Jimmy Butler, I think, is starting to take shape after the adjustment period. It looks like they're all finding their rhythm. They're finding out who they are as a team. Remember, the Sixers are 8-2 in their last 10 games. So this thing is rolling. They're looking good right now. They look like they're a top 3 team. I mean, I think we all kind of expect Boston to come back, but man, it just seems like we're waiting and waiting on Boston, but we're not waiting on the Sixers at this point. Yeah.
And like the Sixers are in that stance in where they basically stole Jimmy Butler from the Timberwolves, in my opinion. They kind of got away with that one there. And they could make a run in the playoffs, who knows, but they still need to test themselves amongst the best teams in the NBA, and this was one of those things where you got to learn from this loss and make sure you got to come back stronger than ever next time you play the Raptors.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of better teams in the NBA, the Clippers, they have been red hot. They have been the best team in Los Angeles, like we noted earlier in this show. They lose to Memphis last night, though, 96-86. Very low-scoring game, just the way that Memphis likes it. The Clippers dropped to 16-8, and the Grizzlies improved to 14-9. But Mike Conley had a good game. Very low scoring. It was the lowest scoring game of the season for the Clippers. And, they had 2 quarters where they were under 20 points. The first quarter, they scored 15. The last quarter, the fourth, they scored 17 points. So, man, the Grizzlies can really get after it on defense. And it is nice to see.
The Grizzlies are tenacious. That is the perfect word for them.
It's nice to see that teams like the Grizzlies, teams like the Nuggets, they're doing it with a collective, defensive-minded effort. You know what I mean?
Isn't that great? That's something fresh.
It is something refreshing about the NBA this year.
I'm tired of, Russell Westbrook just scored 50 points, 30 rebounds, and 72 assists, and won the game himself. Mm-hmm. It's nice to see a full team effort.
Absolutely. All right, so which game would you like to go to next?
Let's see. You talked about that one. Let's go to another good team in the East, the Bucks. Mm-hmm. The Bucks won this one 115-92 in a statement game, if I ever seen one. Giannis had only 15 points, but some of those points kind of destroyed some careers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know you're talking about the dunk over Blake Griffin, which was insane. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It was something that they'll show on SportsCenter for quite some time.
Mm-hmm, yeah, it was. It's going to be on posters and kids' walls. It's going to be in his mind when he goes to sleep. He's going to wake up with shivers at night thinking about that. Giannis dunking on him. It's a pretty destructive force, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Maybe he needs to read some books and get his mind off of it.
You think so? What's the best option for him to do that?
You know what? I think an audiobook would be the best for him.
Really?
Because if you want to give yourself a great listening and you want to get a good deal, go to Audible. Right now, for a limited time, you can get 3 months of Audible for just $6.95 a month. That's more than half off the regular price. Give yourself the gift of listening. And while you're at it, think about the gift of Audible to someone on your list of loved ones. For more, go to audible.com/GSMCbook or text the code GSMCbook to 500-500. That's 500-500. With these codes, you can get your first audiobook for free along with 2 selected Audible original titles, which are they're only exclusive to them, and exclusive fitness programs when you start a 30-day trial. So take the time to listen on Audible. Just visit audible.com/GSMCbook or text the code GSMCbook to 500-500. That's 500-500. The code you would text that to is GSMCbook to get started.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA, from the UFC to extreme cage fighting. They got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, and we finished up some important games in the NBA, and also you have a fun fact that happened on this day at a certain year. Tell us, Mark, what that fun fact is.
December 6, 1966.
I did not expect that. No. You keep going. We're keeping that in. That's staying in.
All right. Rick Barry of the San Francisco Warriors made an NBA record 14 free throws in one quarter as the Warriors beat the Knicks 126-116 in New York.
Are you okay? Did you age 50 years since you last went on break?
Yeah, on this day, I mean, Rick Barry, 14 free throws.
Did you go back in time and then wait until the future to tell me?
Is that a record to this day? That's what I want to know. I know that was a record, but man, I feel like James Harden has shot like 37 free throws in a quarter before.
It's almost like the refs like to get the star players on the line.
Especially nowadays. There's like fouls all the time. Like they didn't call fouls like that much.
There was a foul during a game when the game didn't even start yet. He was going for a layup during warm-ups and they called a foul.
Josh Hart committed 3 fouls in 20 seconds last night when I was watching the Lakers game.
Like 20 seconds real time or 20 seconds in the game?
He had an offensive foul and then a defensive foul and then a bogus defensive foul. Like they said he hit Shooter's arm and he was nowhere near it, but it was all 3 fouls in a row. Like 3 consecutive whistles were Josh Hart. It was pretty funny.
So in those 20 seconds, was it in game time or was it in real time?
It was in game time because they actually had
to like 5 minutes.
They reviewed his offensive foul to make sure it wasn't a flagrant because he had an elbow. So it was like probably 4 minutes of real time.
Sure.
But no, it was pretty funny. Anyways, we got some games to talk about.
We got more games to talk about. All right, old man Mark. Let's get on this.
All right, I'll start.
Yeehaw!
I don't know why I just talked about yeehaw. Detroit and Milwaukee. I talked about the Clips and Grizzlies. How about the Pelicans? 132-106. They crush Luka and the boys from Dallas. New Orleans scores some points, man. They're one of the highest scoring teams in the NBA, which is surprising to me. But Julius Randle, 27 and 18 for the young power forward. Big game for him. We've seen him fill it up lately. Anthony Davis, 27, 9 and 4. 9 assists, not rebounds, by the way. That's a really good game for Anthony Davis, who a lot of people think might be on the trade block, believe it or not. I don't see that happening at all, but he is a name that has obviously gained a lot of interest. I mean, who wouldn't want Anthony Davis on their team? He's a great player, all-around player, phenomenal. But the Pelicans are now 13-13. They've clawed back to 500. Dallas 12-11. In that, man, that just I don't even know the word for it, but that Western Conference between like 6 and 10 right now, it's so close.
Microscopic.
It changes nightly in the NBA. I mean, you got Sacramento at 12-11, Dallas at 12-11, Portland at 13-11, Minnesota at 13-12, New Orleans at 13-13, Utah at 12-13, Houston at 11-12. All those teams are within a game.
It's acrimonious.
This is nuts, man. This is absolutely
If you watch
nuts.
Friends, you'll get that reference.
Did you say acrimonious?
Acrimonious.
Okay, so there's a funny reference because it's not acrimonious. What am I missing?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Because Joey says it like that.
Because Joey, he's the dumb one, right? Joey and Phoebe, they're the ones that say stupid things.
Yeah.
I mean, they all kind of have their part. I get it, but they're the ones that are like, haha, idiot.
Chandler's the funny one. Joey's the stupid one. Phoebe's the crazy.
Chandler's the funny one, like the smart funny one.
Yes. Ross is the smart one, is the goofy, smart one to a fault. Monica's the clean freak. Rachel is the fashion freak. And Phoebe's just a freak.
Rachel I know this. I don't know if you know this, but that haircut, that's the Rachel. Women will,
Which one? She has multiple in the show.
No, like it's just the Rachel, man. It's just the normal, like, shorter one.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I don't know how to describe it.
And also, Jennifer Aniston has aged backwards. She's so gorgeous.
I think
so.
She might
Jennifer
be
Aniston, if you're a fan of this show, I think you're the most gorgeous woman probably on the planet.
Wow. Shoot your shot. Shoot or shoot. You know what I mean?
I can say that with a lot of. I'm attracted to. She's up there in gorgeousness.
I'm attracted to a lot.
A lot of women, but like she's up there and like she's a godhood.
Okay.
Like Nicki Minaj is gorgeous.
Would you say she's like the Michael Jordan of like
gorgeousness?
Actresses?
Like Nicki Minaj is like the Kobe Bryant of gorgeousness, but like Jennifer Aniston's like God.
Nicki Minaj, huh?
Oh yeah. I think she's attractive. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, she's pretty. I didn't know she was like on your Mount Rushmore.
She's not. No, I wouldn't say she's on my Mount Rushmore.
I mean, I'm not gonna.
I would say top 10.
When I look at you, I don't see Nicki Minaj next to you. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course not. But like, yeah, I don't see Jennifer Aniston next to me either. But whatever.
But I feel like that
Nicki Minaj
is a little bit more.
Nicki Minaj is definitely in my top 10.
Like, I feel like Jennifer, like you could be Jennifer Aniston's pool boy at least.
Thanks.
We're like Nicki Minaj would be like. What are you, like, security? What's going on here, you know? Anyways, let's go back to basketball. Let's get off topic here for a minute. Hornets Timberwolves. That game happened.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody...
Was Nicki Minaj there?
No. She was not, but Karl Anthony Towns was. He had 35 points.
He probably has a shot with her.
Wiggins had a season high 26. Minnesota's 13-12. We just talked about them. Charlotte... They fall to 11-13.
Oh, man, they started off hot, too.
Yeah, that sizzle is going down, that's for sure. Kemba Walker, 15 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds. That's not what we've seen from the beginning of the season from him. You could argue that he was the first quarter of the season MVP. I mean, I'm not saying he was, but
I could agree with that. I can agree with that. Yeah,
it would be a number of players. Obviously, Curry missed most of that time.
If we're gonna do lottery for the draft, let's just do a lottery for MVP. He would be in that lottery.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a guy like LeBron, a guy like Giannis, Kemba.
Honestly, I gotta say Giannis is MVP right now, though, in my mind.
Who?
Giannis.
Yeah, I would say so. That's
him or Kawhi, honestly.
Yeah. No, you have to go with that because their teams are killing it right now, and they've been so good. Yeah, absolutely.
And they're the best teams in the NBA, so you got to put them.
Yeah. Did we talk about the Nuggets?
Yeah, we did.
We did. How they continue their winning ways. Okay, Wizards beat the Hawks. I don't know how many people care about that, but the Hawks are 5-20.
There was something about that game I liked. When Bradley Beal was shooting free throws, the Hawks fans were chanting, "John Wall hates you," and I thought that was hilarious. They did the same thing. They did the same thing when Durant, because they went, "Draymond hates you."
I feel bad for Hawks fans. I know that they've had some fun lately, but man, it's got to be tough rooting for that team. Like, it really has to. I mean, I hate to say this right now, Jeff.
Being a fan of an Atlanta team is hurtful. Georgia college football, Atlanta Falcons. I mean, the last the Super Bowl and the national championship game in roughly the same year had to affect them all emotionally. And then you look at the Hawks, who haven't won anything. And then who else is there? Oh, Atlanta United. They have Atlanta United to root for.
Who are probably going to win the MLS Cup.
Yeah, good for them. They win that at least.
They're a great MLS team. They are a very exciting team. If you don't care for soccer that much, especially if you do, they play a very attacking, very aesthetically pleasing style of soccer.
And they can sell out the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
71,000 every single time.
Unlike the Falcons.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, I got to talk about something, though. This might be unpopular, but Trae Young, I don't know if he's going to be good, man.
He started off pretty decently, all things considered.
So when you look at his numbers, he's got 15 points, 7 assists, and you're thinking, okay, that's pretty nice. But he's shooting 38%, and he's shooting 24% from 3. Jeff, those are bad numbers. He's getting
24% in any category.
He has 15 points a game, but that's because he's shooting 15 times a game on average. Like, he's not an effective shooter at this point.
He's honestly mediocre would be kind for him.
He's been really bad defending. He might be that B word. I don't want to say it. But
you mean bust? I said it.
It's still way too early for me to say it, but I would be concerned. Like, if I'm a Hawks fan, I'm like, wow, we could have had Luka Doncic, right?
Wait, can they? Could they?
They picked Luka and traded him to the Mavericks.
That's what they did. That's right.
Yeah.
I was trying to think, like, wait, that doesn't...
If I'm looking at it right now, I know that they got an extra first-round pick out of it, but no, I'm taking Luka. I'm taking Luka, and I'll take
let's see what that first-round pick is. They got extra, and we'll
look at Dallas right now. That's not looking like it's going to be a top 5 pick for the Hawks.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
let's not say anything too soon.
We'll see, but it's not looking good early for Trae Young. Can we just be honest?
Absolutely, 100%. I'm agreeing with you.
All right, so why don't we go to a quick break?
Sure.
When we come back, we can wrap this show up. We have a couple games, some notable games this weekend that you might want to keep your eye out for. And also some news of college basketball, and we have an update on Brandon Ingram and his injury.
Oh, good stuff. We'll be right back. Hold on tight.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Do you watch those ASMR videos that like tire crushes stuff and all that weird, the slime videos?
I don't.
And actually is pleasing to the ears.
Interesting.
I was not I'm not a big fan when they like people eat in the ASMR. That's kind of gross. But the things with like slime and like crunchy sand and all that kind of stuff, that actually is kind of soothing to me. I know that's a weird thing to say, but
no, it's normal.
They're really hitting They're really hitting a big trend in the especially in Instagram.
Yeah. All right. So on this day in 2000, December 6, 2000, Anton Jameson of the Golden State Warriors and Kobe Bryant of the LA Lakers scored 51 points apiece in the Warriors' 125-122 overtime victory. It was the first time in nearly 38 years and only the third time in NBA history that opposing players each scored at least 50 points in an NBA game. The feat last occurred on December 14th, 1962, when Wilt Chamberlain scored 63 for the Philadelphia Warriors and Elgin Baylor tallied 50 points for the Los Angeles Lakers. For Jameson, it was also the second straight game in which he scored 51, having hit that number 3 days prior in a loss to Seattle. Long-winded, yes, but interesting to say the least.
And Elgin Baylor, the former general manager of the Clippers.
So, let's talk about some games tonight. Rockets and Jazz, 7:30 Pacific Standard Time. That's on TNT. The Jazz are hosting the Rockets. Both these teams are below 500, 25 games into the season. Isn't that crazy to say?
You're crazy.
Yeah. Well,
You read that wrong. Let me see. You read that wrong.
Nope.
Let me see.
11 and 12 for the Rockets and 12 and 13 for the Jazz. So,
And we both had them in like the top 5.
I had them 2 and 3.
They're not going to be 2 and 3, I don't think.
I don't believe so.
No.
All right, so tomorrow night, there's some interesting basketball games. I would say the Grizzlies-Pelicans is interesting. The Lakers and Spurs are having a rematch from just last night. But, Jeff, the game that I think everybody's waiting for.
Is it odd that that the team is playing back-to-back this quickly?
They do it sometimes. But tomorrow night, the game that everybody's going to be talking about, the Warriors and Bucks on ESPN at Milwaukee. Are you going to be interested in watching that?
Yeah, I'll probably watch it.
All right. We'll see if Giannis, what he can do, and see what a healthier Warriors team can do against one of the league's best. We take a look at Saturday. Lakers-Grizzlies, that's a battle of 2 9-loss teams, so 2 of the playoff teams currently in the West will be facing off. That's an interesting game. And then Sunday, Bucks-Raptors. That's on Sunday. Bucks-Raptors, that's definitely the game of the weekend for me, as the 2 top teams in the East will face off, this time in Toronto.
Ooh, in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Key word there. Canada.
So Brandon Ingram came down, rolled his ankle last night. He had to leave the game. They had x-rays. Fortunately, the x-rays were negative, so no break, just a sprained ankle. He'll miss some time, but
Good. You don't want a player young like that with a lot of potential to, God bless you, to get injured that quickly, to get injured and not be able to play. I mean, you hate to see it in any player, but especially a young player with so much potential like Ingram, you don't want to see that. So good thing.
Duke stays in the win column. Last night, it looked like they were having a lot of fun. I saw a couple times where they were throwing the ball off the backboard to each other. This team's probably not going to lose again until maybe the tournament. I don't know. But what about Gonzaga? They needed a late shot to win last night by 2 points against Washington. They stay undefeated, and they remain the number 1 ranked team in college basketball. They're 8-0, Jeff, and I ask, are they the team that will go undefeated this year?
I don't think any team's going to go undefeated, though.
So Gonzaga plays, and I'm not kidding, these are their next 2 games. Tennessee, who's ranked 7, and North Carolina, who's ranked 14.
Yeah, I don't think they're...
But then after that, it's all conference play for them.
So I guess they do, but we've seen so many teams get upset. Like, I don't remember the last time there was an undefeated team. It was like in the 90s or 80s or something like that. So I say there will be the number 1 seed by end season will be at least 1 loss.
Yeah, I think they'll lose at some point. I mean, they have an easier conference, but we'll see teams like San Francisco, Santa Clara. Like, sometimes those teams will give them a game, you know?
Yeah, there's always that one.
Gonzaga does play Loyola Marymount, though. That'll be interesting.
Chicago, that team that went in the Final Four last year? Fascinating.
They'll be hosting Sister Jean, right? Sister Jean?
Yes. I hope she's still alive.
I kind of want
after
one of
we're
those
talking about
Sister
this.
Jean bobbleheads.
Isn't she like in her 90s?
Yeah, something like that.
Hopefully she looks like she was healthy when
That was a hell of a run by that team, though. That was fun.
Like that was like remember like
that's
VC.
the best part of the tournament. It's like latching onto that one team that remember it was was it Baltimore County was also
that being the number 1 seed for the first time ever. They hung up a banner. Do you remember when Virginia Commonwealth got into the Final Four themselves?
With Shaka, what's his name?
Shaka Bra? I don't know.
Shaka Smart, is that his name? The
I don't
coach.
Know.
He now
I don't remember his name. Sorry.
Sister Jean's 99 years old, by the way.
Hopefully she'll be still with us by the time they go to the tournament again. Hopefully they'll make it this year.
Mm-hmm. Shaka Smart is that coach, by the way. I was. He's the young coach who was the VCU guy. All those teams are fun to like root for. That's the best part about the tournament. It's not rooting for the favorites. It's rooting for those upsets, man, every single time.
Mm-hmm. Upsets are the best. And that's why March Madness, no one will ever get this 100% right.
Yeah, absolutely not. All right, so I think we're done.
All right, we're done. Thank you so much for joining us. Please tune us in. Well, I guess Tuesday will be our next.
Also hit up at Jeff Malinoff and let him know who your celebrity crushes are.
Sure, bring it. At Jeff Malinoff on Twitter.
Yeah, do that. All right, so we're done.
Yep. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week. Have a good day, everybody, and enjoy your weekend.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.